Alright, welcome everybody. This is Total Nuclear Annihilation by Spooky Pinball. This is one of the best machines ever made, if you ask me, and I'm going to teach you how to play it. It's not a very complicated game, however, it falls very perfectly into the easy to learn, very difficult to master category, which is my favorite category of any game. So, the objective of the game is to basically destroy the world. Total nuclear annihilation. And you do this by destroying 9 nuclear reactors. Destroying a reactor is the same process all 9 times. It just gets slightly harder. Things will take more hits to finish, and you'll need to hit more targets in order to get to the next phase. But the actual process of destroying those reactors remains the same throughout the entire game. So, the first step is to finish the bank of 9 lights right in the center of the playfield. This is called the keypad. So right now, when you start the game, you end up being spotted a few lights, because this is only reactor 1. Later on, all of those lights will be out and you have to fill them all. So the first thing you need to do is finish this bank, and that will type in the code for the reactor. Next, you have to start the reactor or get inside the reactor. You do this by hitting the scoop 1 time. That's step 2. Step 3, once the reactor is started, is you need to get into the reactor core, and you need to basically cause absolute mayhem until the reactor goes critical. Once the reactor goes critical, you come back down to the lower part of the playfield, where some shots will be blinking white and red. I think he changed the lights so that they also blink red, but look for white shots anyway. We have the rad targets, these 2 destroy targets here, and the pop bumper are your options for the critical reactor. Once you have destroyed, or once you have hit all of those white or red shots, the reactor will explode and you will move on to the next one. Then the entire process repeats. Right after you destroy the reactor, the keypad is the next step. Scoop, core, critical. And you just repeat that the entire time. The multi-ball in this game is done with the lock up here. It is done using the Denisi lock, which is a stroke of genius of 3 drop targets that are in a row, inline drops. You shoot in here, a drop target will come up and trap your ball. You shoot again, and the same thing will happen. And if then, with 2 balls in the lock, you hit the front drop target, they will all come out at you at once for multi-ball. And that is basically all the rules. There are a few more things of note. The lane targets, the lane switches here, they spell save, S-A-V-E. And there's a reason for that. In this game, when you finish, I think 3, I don't even think you need all 4. I think you just need 3 of the save letters. You will light what is called a lane save. If the ball goes out an out lane that is currently lit with the lane save, you will not die, the ball will come back and you will continue play. If you drop the ball through an in lane that is lit for a ball save, or a lane save, you will light a 10-second ball saver, which can be observed at the ball saver timer at the bottom. So you can bank multiple lane saves, and the game can give them to you in certain circumstances, such as the mystery award and the skill shot, which brings me to the skill shot. The skill shot is coming up and into the 4 lanes here. You can move the skill shot. Once you plunge, you can still move the skill shot, and catching the ball will give you a lane save, as well as some points for the skill shot. The super skill shot occurs when you park you park your skill shot, you plunge, and then you do not move it again. So if I were to plunge right now, and I did not move it from the R, and it went in the R, that is the super skill shot, that will spot you a lane save and finish the keypad for you instantly, which is excellent. There is a secret skill shot. I don't feel like revealing it in this tutorial. It has something to do with the lock. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, those are the rules to Total Nuclear Annihilation. Now let's get into strategy. So what I like to do, and I'll demonstrate this in a minute, is I like to get into a rhythm. most people will tell you that multiball is the key to beating this game, and they are correct. However, multiball is not the key to beating certain parts of this game. Arguably, I believe the scoop and the core sections are not aided very much by multiball. The scoop, yes, they'll end up going in there, but the core I find to be even harder during multiball. So what I like to do is I like to finish all of my tasks, and once the reactor is critical, and I'm supposed to hit things down here, is when I will start multiball. Once I do that, I will finish the reactor, blow it up, and then immediately use the same multiball to finish the keypad. Because the keypad is the most dangerous step. It's right here in the middle. It tends to bounce straight back at you right down the middle, and it's very dangerous. I do not recommend shooting at the keypad unless you have either multiball or a ball saver. And that is really all the strategy you need to beat this game. You want to try to maximize your multiball use. And that is how you do it. The multiball is incredible for finishing your targets once it's critical, and for finishing your keypad. Then you can work on the other two steps in single ball and work on relighting your locks. You relight your locks by knocking down all 3 inline targets and hitting the scoop in the back. That will relight your locks and you can get another multiball. So that is the summary of the rules for TNA. Let's go over it just a little bit to show you what I mean. I'm going to try to get the super skill shot. I'm probably going to miss, but let's try it. And I missed horribly. So, TNA is a game of getting control. If you just flail around and shoot at nothing, you're going to die pretty fast. Look at all that. That's nonsense. So what you want to do in this game is get control of the ball. The more you can get control of the ball, the better you're going to play this game. You want to take slow, deliberate shots. In this case, I have 1 light left to go on the key bank, so I'm going to shoot at it, even though it's probably a bad idea. I break my own rules all the time. So let's try. I hit it, and I did not die, and that is luck, not skill. Okay, so now I have finished the keypad. My next goal is to shoot it into the scoop 1 time. As you can see, start reactor is lit. So let's see if I can get that. Nope. I missed, and I made the game angry with tilting again. And that happened. Alright, so that actually can bring me to the next strategy. One of the strategies you can use, and I recommend using, is you can get into the core from the plunge going for the skill shot. I recommend using the power gauge on your shooter rod in order to find the spot that will drop your ball up into the top. In this case, because the core drains into the scoop, if I can drop it into the core, I will get the scoop shot that I need. It doesn't really matter if I finish the keypad right now, so the super skill shot doesn't matter, but if I can catch the skill shot anyway, I will get a very valuable lane save. However, I missed all of that, so we're going to just try to do it the old-fashioned way. And I missed again. There.
Please stand by for reactor startup sequence.
Now the reactor is starting up, and my next task is to get up into the core and bounce around a bunch. Everything in the core adds to your finishing of the core. So now, in order to get into the core, you need to shoot it into the orbits here. The pink lights tell you which of those orbits will stop the ball and drop it in there. So if I shoot the left orbit, it will not go all the way around. It will stop here and drop into the core. In your first few reactors, you can see both are lit pink, so it doesn't matter which orbit I shoot. They will both drop into the core. I believe reactor 3, maybe 4, and onward, only one of those will be lit at a time, and it switches every time you hit an auto-fire coil. So both slings and the pop bumper. So, and this is an excellent time. No, I'll go over that in a minute. So let's just get it up there and show you how to get this next stage. Just miss a bunch. Also, there's a Powerball in my game, ignore that. Alright, so we're up there now, we just need to bounce around. As you can see, the digital display is going up to 100. Once we reach 100, the reactor is critical, and then we come down here for the final phase. Oh, if I can get a control of the ball. Alright, and so now we're in the destroy phase. And the pop bumper is blinking red and white, and that is the only one that is lit right now, so that's the only one we need to hit to win. Right now, during this phase is when I recommend starting multiball. So that's what we're going to do next. The locks are right here. Backhanding this lock is probably one of the most consistent shots in pinball. I can make this shot 95% of the time, and that's pretty consistent for pinball. It doesn't matter like what game you're playing, 95% is pretty good. So you can also obviously forehand it normally, but backhanding the lock is much easier and much safer. I highly recommend backhanding it all the time if possible. So here we go, we're going to backhand it into the lock. There we go. The ball's going to kick into play, and if I don't let it kick into play, I can plunge it manually and get it somewhere else. I also highly recommend plunging manually. That's actually on the tips of the attract mode. So what happens is whenever you lock a ball, or whenever a ball is saved, it will kick one into the out lane, or into the shooter lane, and about a second and a half later, the auto plunge will fire. However, if you plunge first, you can control that plunge, and then you can do many things with that. You can either plunge it into the core, which is excellent for trying to get balls into the core to make it rattle around and finish the reactor. You can do a short plunge to attempt to catch the ball on the right flipper, which is where we are right now. Or you can go all the way around and you can do a nice bump over here. I recommend doing the short plunge or trying to come up here. So now we're going to get into multi-ball by locking ball 2. And I'm going to try to plunge into the core because it's safer for me, but I missed, so we're just going to catch it. If you give the game a good bump, when the ball is right here, it will come out, it will miss the sling, and then you can get a chance to live catch it right here. If that's above your skill level, that's still fine. Short plunging is still a little safer than going all the way around. Alright, so now we're going to start multi-ball, and then our goal is to cause utter chaos. I don't usually aim at things in multi-ball unless I know what I need to do to defeat it. I tend to just look at the flippers and try to keep the balls in play. They will bounce around like crazy, they will do their work. Once your ball save from multi-ball ends, you might want to play a little more conservatively, trap up some balls and try to shoot things on purpose. I like chaos, that's my personal choice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to unleash the multi-ball by hitting this target. Hopefully we're going to hit the pop bumper, and then immediately the entire process resets, so we'll go back to the keypad. My goal for any single multi-ball is to finish the reactor I'm on and then finish the next keypad. If I can do both of those steps in one multi-ball, I am doing excellent. And then I can just repeat that process until I've beaten the game. So here we go. We're going to start this multi-ball and immediately hit that pop bumper. So now I'm going for the center bank. I mean, there are jackpots at the scoop right now, but I'm teaching you how to win this game, not how to get some points. Also, if you have a lane save lit and you catch it during multi-ball, it does not matter which lane it is, you will get 10 seconds of ball saver. So that is an excellent way to extend your multi-ball. So unfortunately, I was not able to finish the bank, but I got pretty close. And with only one more light to hit there, I'm in pretty good shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try again to get the skill shot. Caught that for a lane save. And now while I have a ball saver down here, I'm totally cool to shoot at the center. There, I hit it. And I died, but it's fine because I had a ball saver. So now I plunge it up there, it goes into the scoop, and we're halfway done with another reactor. You can cancel this animation, and I recommend doing it so you know when it ends. Notice I just caught that. However, it was on the out lane, so I should only get that one ball saved. But because I already had another ball saver active, the game does not waste it. So if you already have a ball saver active and you catch one in the out lane, you will get the 10 seconds, so it's not wasted. Alright, so now we're in the next reactor. We have to get up into the core to destroy it. Here is another strategy I recommend to get up there. Right now, normally I would shoot the left orbit because it's the easier shot. The right orbit is much harder to hit. So typically, if I'm on the right flipper, I will be shooting at the left orbit because it is much easier. But because I want to show you this other strategy, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to backhand it into the lock. And then, as I said before, I'm going to come here and I'm going to beat the auto plunger and I'm going to plunge it into the top. So this would be great if, for example, the left orbit was not lit right now. I cannot shoot the right orbit, and I don't need the banker to scoop. So, and my particular game does not like post passing, so I'm kind of can't really do anything right now. So what I would do is this: I would shoot it into the lock, and then I would come down and plunge it, and try to get it up in the middle, which I did. So now I have a ball up in the core that I had before, and there an accidental lock. So let's try to do it again. If possible, I recommend never letting the auto plunger do anything. If you can beat the auto plunger every time, do it. If you're distracted by other things, then obviously let it do its thing. But only during multiball is typically when I let it come in. So now we're in the destroy phase, and so now we want to start multiball again. That's it. So here we come. There's a drop catch. There is a repeatable drop catch when the ball shoots out of the scoop. It is difficult, but it is once you have mastered it, it is very easy to perform repeatedly. So it's not like you get lucky and get it once in a while. It's you learn how to do it, and then you can do it more often than not. So I highly recommend working on your drop catch out of that scoop. All right, so now all I really need is multiball, so I'm just going to shoot at the lock even though I'm not backhanding it. It's a much more difficult shot, and it's not a given. But I'm going to do it anyway because I have nothing else that's important. So I got it. So now we're just going to cause chaos again. And if I can, I'm going to try to spell save while I'm in multiball. Just, if I happen to see a ball going through, I'm going to try to catch my lights that aren't on. It's not my number one priority. Number one priority is the bank, which that was, again, a very bad multiball. I apologize for that. So we're going to just disregard my own advice and tutorial and shoot those last two. All right. I should shoot the scoop. Let's shoot the scoop. I missed. Okay. A little bump. Whoa. Okay. Let's try again. Got it. Oh, extra ball. So, when you start reactors 3 and 6, you will automatically be awarded an extra ball. There's nothing else you have to do, just progress through the game. So there we go. See that drop catch? That looks really impressive, but once you've learned it, it's not that hard. All right, I still have both orbits lit, so I'm just going to shoot at the left one because it's the easier shot. And once I'm up here, I just want to bump around and cause chaos. When the ball kicks out of the scoop, it also gives you a very short ball saver. However, this does not occur if you end up in the scoop multiple times quickly. So if you were to catch the ball, I'm kind of demonstrating that really well right now. If I were to catch the ball and shoot it immediately back into the scoop, it would fire back at me and I would not get a ball save that time. So I think the cooldown is, I don't know, 3 or so seconds. So don't expect the ball save every time it comes out if you keep doing it rapidly. So now I have to shoot at the right orbit because I'm in a bad place. The right orbit is a much harder shot. It is much further down the flipper than it feels like it should be, but I'm going to go for it. And I did not hit it that time. And, well, I got another try. Let's try. Got one. All right, so now same business as usual. Let's try to keep it up there. And once it's up there, oh, there is another thing I can explain next time I'm up there, or now. So the 1, 2, 3 targets up here will increase the value that you receive for destroying your reactor. So that's called the reactor value. So right now, what is my reactor value? On the screen, my reactor value is 60,000. If I were to hit the 2 target right now, because you have to hit them in order, 1, 2, 3, that value would go up. I'm not actually sure how much right now, but it gets bigger and bigger the more reactors you have destroyed. In fact, scoring in general in this game goes up as you make progress. So making progress is not only for fun, but it's also a competitive strategy. It's getting several reactors done. Spelling rad is what lights the mystery award at the scoop, which can give you a lot of useful things, including lighting the locks instantly is my favorite. It can enable a ball save, it can give you a lane save, it can give you points. It's a good time. So, I am in the destroy phase. Also a lot of jokes, yes. Pay attention to the options that are scrolled through for the mystery award. It is worth your time. Alright, so now I'm in the destroy phase. I'm going to try to relight my locks so I can start multi-ball. Even though there's only a few targets here, and yes, I could destroy them with one ball, the next step is going to be the keypad, which is, again, really dangerous and difficult with one ball. So even though I only have a few targets here, it's not the whole job. So, resist the urge to just get the reactor done unless you only need that many points to win. But because we're playing for progress, right now I want to make sure that I keep this cycle going. So I'm going to try to finish those drop targets, which I recommend backhanding once again. But if you can't, you can always shoot it normally. Just try to get control of the ball. It's not easy, but it can be done. So I actually hit a few of the targets by accident while I was just trying to get control of the ball. That tends to happen a lot. So now we have one more shot into the scoop to relight the locks. We'll get a little short ball saver, and then the ball comes back out, and we need to get it back in there and not die. Alright, so right now, I can just go straight for the locks, or I can try to get a skill shot up top, and that's what I'm going to do because I've been very good at it today, and I want to get a lane save because I don't have one. I recommend using your lane save more than I recommend nudging in this game. So, if the ball is looking like it's going to head to the out lane, but you have a lane save, your job is not to watch the ball and bump it and try to get it into the in lane. Your job is to make sure your lane save is on the out lane that you might go out. There's no need to bump it and everything. I know that's your instinct, but the more important thing is just parking the save where you need it. And if you can resist the urge to bump and just go immediately to moving it where it belongs, you will have much more success in this game. Also, you almost always want to make sure you have one lane save available. Obviously that's easier said than done, but having no lane saves makes you vulnerable. There's nothing you can do about the out lanes except nudging, and nudging is hard and difficult, and even if you're good, it sucks. So we're going to try to get a lane save by getting a skill shot. I missed it because it tricked me there, but whatever. So draining also relights your locks for free. So, hey, I got lucky there. So, because I drained, my locks are instantly relit. And that can be very useful later on in the game, because that can potentially save you 3 shots. Also, that is a reason that you want to make sure you get your multi-ball out before you die. So here we go. There's 2 in there. Trying to get up top. So right now I can either go for the 2 target or go for a safe drop. Let's try to get that 2 target. That's the miss sound. You notice I didn't get anything for hitting the 3. Nope, I didn't get it. That's okay. Alright. Now I'm going to hit that multi-ball and just repeat the cycle. Yep, multi-ball, destroy the reactor, finish the keypad. My lock likes to drain them all right down the middle. Doesn't matter. I have a ball saver. I want chaos. Panic. I know that I only have 1 target left, so I am going to make a half-hearted attempt to aim at it. But it's difficult. Keep hitting the A. Uh-oh. 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 Okay, still alive. So, this is a difficult situation. I was unable to destroy the reactor, but that means I'm unable to finish the next part. yes, I have one target left, and I could probably get the reactor done right now. But the smarter play is to go for multi-ball again, because I need the multi-ball for the next step too. So instead of shooting at that D, we're gonna try to relight the locks. And of course, we get it by accident. That doesn't change the plan at all, actually. We're still just gonna go for multi-ball because 5 lights, 6 lights on the keypad is difficult. However, I just got a ball saver, so now I can shoot the middle. That didn't work out, but it could have. I very well could have ended up. And so none of that was intentional. I'm just trying to get control of the ball. And this is how it can play out sometimes. I was trying to get multi-ball, but I ended up accidentally finishing most of the keypad. So now there's one target left, and I'm going to shoot for it just because I want to. There we go. It's done. So now I'm at the phase where I don't really want multi-ball anymore. So I'm just going to not get it. All right, I got a lock. Let's try to plunge it up there for the free scoop. I failed. Oh, and I really failed. Okay. So yeah, that is an introduction to Total Nuclear Annihilation.